지금 다운로드 받으세요.
Well, I mean, I wanted to paint you in a positive light. Oh, whatever he had on his arm is gone now.
What?
Oh, no, it is. No, see, there it is.
Oh, there we go.
I don't know what that is, but I hope he's doing all right. I hope he's in good health.
Muscles are bursting out of his arm. He's got to get a patch on that to make sure he stays alive.
He's like Bane from Batman. And not the third Dark Knight movie. That one was terrible. It was the only bad one in the trio, in the trilogy.
You know, I actually never saw that movie.
Don't
I saw
see
the
it.
other two, but I never saw that one. I don't know why.
Don't see that one. It's just not worth it.
So
Lucero looks mad, which is not unlike him. He does look angry a lot when he's down in a series like this. By the way, we usually go in and break down how these groups work. There's a total of 30 sets. The sets you can see here are all the sets Lucero has planned to play, and they're ordering. I tweeted earlier what the match list is, and I'm sure it's probably on Liquipedia and Team Liquid by now. But you basically need 6 wins to get out of the group, and 6 losses it will eliminate you because you play 10 games in total. So that's basically the basic idea of what these guys are going for here. Away wins count more than regular wins.
yeah, they just want those wins. So let's jump into game number 2, and he's going to take this one between Zest and Lucero. Here we are on Arena, Zest's map pick. And down here in the bottom left, the man himself, he is the best. It is Zest from KT Rolster.
And his opponent to the top left in blue, it is Lucero. It is now Zest, or rather Lucero's away map. And Arena, a map that we see not as often as most other maps, but I know a lot of pro gamers aren't as big of a fan of it as I am, and Tasteless is, but I love this map. It's one of my favorite maps in the pool just because it creates such interesting situations that other maps don't allow for. I'm waiting for the day we see like this map go full macro. Like I'm waiting for the day where we see the bases on the right side of the map taken and it like all gets mined out.
One day. Maybe if they agree to no rush 20 and decide not to use that small bridge to attack each other.
He's going aggro again, man. I don't think this is a scout. I think it's a hatch block. There it is. Oh, just in time.
I mean, Lucero is coming in here very aggressive against Zest, and I can only imagine the games that these guys play in the house. You know, I would imagine that Zest takes about 90% of them, and Lucero is just like hanging on. So you have to imagine he's coming into this group and he's like, well, I got to play Zest 2 games in a row, and how am I going to take a win? Well, it's not going to be on a straight-up macro game. I got to do something crazy, and that's the obvious strategy here for Lucero.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is basically like literally what we're seeing. I think you couldn't have summed it up even any better. But this hatch is going to be pretty annoying. This is going to delay the hatchery or the nexus of Zest. So Lucero is not like going to win the game off of this, but he's just going to mess with Zest's build. And, you know, this is Lucero's away map. So this is something that we see. It's what you and I were calling several weeks ago the away cheese. But it's when you're
still a thing. We're still around, away cheese.
When your opponent chooses a map specifically for you, it probably has a plan. If you can mess with that plan so that that plan is no longer viable or possible, it's a really good strategy. And that's what we see here. May go for the Evo block. Not going to happen. He's just going to block with the drone's body here.
It's actually a really sick block. He's blocking for so long, and he's still going to get out here and go back home. Back at home, he does have a hatchery coming up, but already 2 Zealots out here, plus the Mothership Core. If he sent a probe over there, maybe he would, you know, he could like set up some pylons and do some aggression. I'm not sure if he wants to go crazy, but he is sending these 2 Zealots over, and a 3rd Zealot actually is already out on the map.
Yeah, this drone doing some scouting work, seeing that the Zealot pressure is coming. There's only 1 queen up here at the front. That hatch isn't done yet, but he has a lot of lings. So he baits the Zealots in, and now he's going to surround and kill them. Look, Ling Speed finishes at the perfect time. This was an excellent bait here by Lucero. The queen will still go down to the Mothership Core, but this is well worth it. And actually a lot of damage even done with that queen to the Mothership, which will have to recall home if it's going to help defend these Lings. There's no tight wall here yet again. Zest drops the ball.
Let's see if he can hold on here. He's making 2 more pylons at the bottom of his ramp, and the Mothership Core is floating back as fast as he can. And there is a sentry here that can force field.
Oh, it needs to, though. I guess he's going to wait till the last second. There's a second sentry as well.
Yeah.
And the Mothership Core should come back just in time to overcharge and keep these Lings away. With the gateway placement here, I think he should be able to get another pylon up pretty easily. He's going to wait a little while here. Yeah, Lings stay on a little bit too long. But I guess the game kind of evens out from here because Lucira starts the 3rd hatch. It's about to finish. Going to have his extra queens out. He droned up. Yeah, the worker count's about dead even at this point. Ooh. Nothing out of the ordinary here on this map.
Wanting to put on a little bit of aggression, but also for safety, too. He just needs to have some units because even with 3 gateways and a 4th one actually coming up here for Zest, the Protoss can definitely put on a lot of pressure. He is going to make 2 more sentries here and prepare. See if he makes any more gateways or if he does want to commit hardcore to this kind of pressure, or if he just wants to hang on, maybe go for a 3rd base. It's definitely looking like a bit of aggression here with, what is that, 5 or 6 sentries now? 6 sentries.
Yeah. And just chunking that extra gas into these units. 2 more on the way. And that extra gateway nearly finished. The funny thing is, sentries will die to Roach Ravager if the Ravagers and Roaches can engage the way they want to, but that's kind of the point of the sentries because they force field, they create new terrain. This is seen, of course, this move out by Zerglings, but Lucira is making Roaches, more and more of them. Every time he gets Larva, he just pops another Roach into the production tab. And this is what he's going to need to defend this.
Yeah, nice block there by Zest to make sure the Lings don't get by. And he sees all the Roaches and the Queens here for the defense with his Mothership Core, and he immediately begins to move out here to take a 3rd base because he knows he's not going to get that damage done.
Scary thing is, can he hold on to this 3rd base even with all these sentries if Lucira just commits to a bunch of Ravagers? Wow, we're going to see a 3rd base go down on this map, man. And
it's happening.
It's happening.
Like, now, if we get a 4th base, that's when the world goes fuck. That's when it goes nuts because that's just not supposed to happen.
It's not supposed to happen. Where's my evolution chamber? Okay, where's my Roach drop? Where's my Overlord drops? We have a Robo, but no Warp Prism. I'm just kind of like, what's going on? What's going on this map? This isn't what I expected at all. The Roaches aren't committing to the attack down the choke point, obviously, with all those sentries. It's basically just unreasonable. And that's one of the reasons why Zest can feel confident enough to take this 3rd base, but he does need to get really nicely set up for a big push because he forced all those... Well, Lucira's making the Roaches anyways, but I think he probably thinks he forced the Roaches. Wow, even hiding this lair. He's like just going to all in with Roaches. Zest needs to identify this. Look, here come the Ravagers I was talking about, and they're going to break force fields. They're going to pop sentries like balloons.
Yeah. I'm glad we get a shot here of what Zest has because it's mainly sentries, as we were talking about before. He's still got 8 sentries, 8 Stalkers, 2 Adepts, and 1 Mothership Core. I'm not even sure if he's got a pylon down at that 3rd base.
I think he has just 1.
Oh, he's got 3.
Okay.
Never mind. He's actually very set up. But here we go. The force field's going down, and the unit's just pushing through. Nice force fields, though, to push him back and force him to go around.
Force field zoning here, but now he could just shell the Nexus.
What?
The Mothership
oh, no.
Core
He
as
lost
well.
his Mothership Core. That's huge.
Man, now this Protoss army, the choke point's going to work against it. He could just simply hold position next to this Nexus. And whenever the Protoss units come up to the top like this, he can corrosive bile to zone them out. And the Nexus is taking a lot of damage. Looks like he's going to commit to fighting the army instead of killing the Nexus, though. Decent force fields again, zoning out, but the units at the bottom are getting Nexus damage done. The hit points are getting low.
Yeah, taking a bit of damage. 2nd Mothership Core comes out here, lays down an overcharge, and the Nexus hasn't lost much outside of shields, so it is still hanging on. And with Immortals coming out 1 by 1, it's going to be interesting. I think he can hold, but it's going to be a very hard hold here.
He has to keep moving against the corrosive biles. This is almost pure Ravager here that Lucira has. In fact, it's Ravager Queen, so there's nowhere left to run against these biles. And if he just keeps throwing them down, eventually Zest's army will evaporate. They've got better range, so they're able to shoot over these force fields as well. No sentries left, and Lucira keeps pushing through. Look at how many biles are coming down with this many Ravagers.
Oh, man. Zest is running out of units here, and even the Immortal is not going to be able to survive. Barrier already used, and he does go down. And that's going to be a win here for Lucira. GG. There we go.
And that puts both KT players on 1-1 and 1.
Yeah.
Kind of funny how that works out, but
both of them getting the away win.
Yep.
just like it happened with Cure and Trap when they did go up against each other.
Yeah, but really interesting composition that we saw from Losera there. I think he really just worked against what Zest was trying to build at that third base because he had he was just sitting there like shooting at the units when they tried to come up around the top. He had units in order to hit that Nexus. I mean, we saw a third base on this map, which is pretty rare in itself, but like we kind of also saw why, I think, in a way.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of surprised that Zest committed to that many sentries and was trying to take a very early third base on a map like that.
Yeah.
As you're saying, you break down the rocks, and the rush distance is so small on a map like that. It looked like almost Heart of the Swarm Protoss play, where it's like, if I just make a million sentries, there's no way he can attack me because he only has roaches. He doesn't have Ravagers, right?
He also didn't zone the units out from the right side of the Nexus, which is basically impossible because there's another one of those horseshoe situations where if you send your units to the top, the Zerg goes around the other side. If you send your units there, he goes around the top as well.
Yeah.
And like, if you split your units in half, neither of your halves of your army are strong enough to beat the Roach Ravager, so you don't really have a structural wall.